I'm Bel Bare. This is Sacred Mechanics.
I've got a little bit of an eclectic episode here for you today. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to pull a few things in that have been happening in my world that maybe you're experiencing as well, because I'm talking about the big stuff, the cosmic stuff. There's so many poignant things in the collective field right now. And I want to touch on a few of them that are taking up most of the real estate in my brain this week. And I know it's been echoing through a lot of people's experiences as well. I'm talking about the upcoming solstice this December. It's November 2025 that this is being recorded. So if you've come in a bit later, we're talking about 21st of December 2025. Where it does mark an energetic turning point as forecast by Edgar Cayce and many others. There's also this new moon in Scorpio, which we are only now just stumbling out of the haze. And I think this has led me to revisit the 10 steps or points I concentrate on after a total flip on my reality, or when I need an urgent and major cleanse, and when I need to begin again. So that rounds up what I'm about to get into. So lean in. I have quite a few things to say. All right, so let's get into it. Edgar Cayce. You may or may not have heard of him. Absolutely prolific, incredible psychic clairvoyant healer from the mid-20th century. He's American and he's known as the sleeping prophet. And he spoke about humanity moving through a massive spiritual cycle, a kind of 26,000 year turning of the cosmic wheel. It's not a prophecy in the Hollywood sense, and not an event coming to save or punish anyone, but a shift in consciousness that unfolds the way seasons do. It's slow, it's subtle, but everywhere at once. It could be visualized as a deep transition that will exist on a certain vibration, and if you match that vibration, you will benefit the most from this energetic shift. So when people talk about December 21, 2025, they're pointing to the symbolic midpoint of that cycle, a moment that represents awakening, rebalancing, attuning, remembering who we are beneath the fear and distraction. And we know that we've got that in bucket loads at the moment. And whether you take it literally or metaphorically, you can feel the truth in the world right now. The truth of this polarity almost, of this spiritual uplifting or window opening on one hand, and on the other hand, it's absolutely batshit crazy. I know that plenty of times in history, it's been completely nuts, but it feels so amplified right now, and it's possibly because we happen to be going through this experience with access to all this technology that we're just receiving information at an unprecedented rate, and it's in full color, it's graphic, it's loud. And we're all together but alone. We're all separate in our own little cocoon almost, experiencing this as a disconnected collective somehow. Feels like people are waking up in strange ways. They're suddenly intolerant of pretending. Old identities are falling away. There's a deep restlessness, a longing for meaning, a desire to live from the inside out instead of the outside in. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you can draw energy from within and put it outward instead of having to absorb energy from the external field inwards. It's as if something ancient is turning over in the collective psyche, and that turn is stirring each of us individually. You might feel it as a nudge to simplify your life. You might feel it as a sudden wave of emotional honesty, with yourself or with the ones close to you. You might feel it as a call to clear old patterns and return to your intuition. This is the heartbeat of that big cycle. Don't expect cosmic fireworks, but the quiet realization that you can't live out of alignment anymore. We're done with that. So when we talk about a 26,000 year awakening point, we're really talking about this moment, this inner shift you're already feeling. It's about reorganizing that part of you and that larger aspect of you that is wanting to turn toward clarity, depth, truth, and soul. And if you feel yourself changing in these deeper ways, not just surface things, but actually seismic shifts almost, it simply means that you're right on time and you're definitely not alone. I've been binge watching videos on YouTube about this for a few days now over the new moon phase, tripping all over the different information. So I suggest you take a little digital journey yourself and see what the word on the street is about this threshold that we find ourselves on. If you're listening to this podcast and are noticing some deep yearning or shifts, you're on the guest list for the main event. Don't worry. We're going to go through this gateway together. Now, on top of that, we've got the Scorpio New Moon, which I'm sure you've heard all about. And I am not an astrologer. I take a front row seat listening to the masters of this science and art and craft. I love it, but I've tried my hand at it and I'm not that good. So I like to just be in the audience and just sort of pick the eyes out of it and get the seeds of what I need to know. So I'm not going to get too deep into this, just the general stuff that you might find relatable. So this Scorpio New Moon was a real clanger. How did it go for you? A Scorpio New Moon always moves like an undercurrent, subtle on the surface and often life-altering underneath. And whether you see the signs of that in an obvious way at that time or not is a whole other story. And obviously depending on your unique chart. But there's a few points here I'm going to raise so that you can check them off and check in with yourself about what's been going on for you in this incredible Scorpio New Moon of November 2025. Emotional truth rising through the roof, I reckon. Scorpio cuts through the polite layers. This new moon tends to drag buried emotions to the surface, resentment, desire, fear, longing, the things we don't say aloud. And there can be a lot of things, actually heaps of things that most of us do carry around, and it's a burden. Many people will have felt a strange emotional intensity without understanding why. And to me, it's been a bit like David Lynch directed a few episodes of Bold and the Beautiful. Super dramatic, high emotion, totally surreal and funny, I suppose, in a weird, sad way. Okay, the next point would be this clearing out what's dead, honoring what wants to live. So Scorpio is ruled by seasonal death, compost, endings, the shedding of old psychic skin. People may have felt relationships shifting, habits breaking, cycles closing, or a deep inner, I can't do this moment. And sometimes it can be hard, but liberating when you hear yourself say that aloud to yourself. I think personally for me, it's about honoring the truths I was not prepared to face. And I promise to stop lying to myself about some of my relationships. I'm doing a lot more feeling and a lot less analyzing now. And I'm maybe not going to give so many second, third, fourth chances, because sometimes things, maybe illogically to some, make my feelings feel like they're crushing my insides. And at this stage of my life, I need to pay attention to that. I mean, got to practice what you preach, right? It's just a classic thing, right? Where the practitioner sometimes needs healing after a while, or a little bit of a shake up, a wake up call in her own backyard. So that's been what my week has been like, for sure. So with this clearing what's dead and honoring what wants to live during the Scorpio New Moon, we can acknowledge things deep in the past as well with the self. Like, I found myself seeing me different for the very first time. I had this moment of clarity that I mostly have lived within the guidelines of who I was raised to be, who they told me I was. And this is not negative, it's just limiting. I had a wonderful upbringing, a wonderful childhood, very creative and all of that, but there's so much more to me that it's taken me now in my early 50s to see, and I think that's sad in a way. And look, obviously I didn't fully listen to the guidelines, because look at me now, seriously doing my clairvoyance and shamanic work and Lord knows what else. But I'm now talking about seeing my own potential and allowing my perception of it to exceed the limits that were prescribed to me over time, or the permission I naturally sought as a young woman of my generation. I don't know, is that daddy issues? I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I busted through some kind of glass ceiling this week, and I am giving full credit to this Scorpio full moon. It also brings shadow clarity, not darkness, but honesty. So this moon pulls the spotlight to the places that we usually avoid: old patterns, unspoken truths, secret desires. And it's a bit like a spiritual x-ray. That's actually, I actually got 2 x-rays this week as well. So isn't that funny that I just had to subconsciously bring that up when I wrote this little note? All right, on top of all of that, there's this magnetic intuition. So Scorpio heightens psychic sensitivity, as I'm sure you all know. Dreams get louder, signs and symbols show up everywhere. People may have felt guided, unsettled, or unusually aware of subtle energies. Have you guys been experiencing that? Let me know. I have been, and I've been practicing working with the signs intensely the past week. And I've been getting very specific and using the signs as an oracle of sorts, which I always casually do. It's how I live my life. But I decided to really put it to the test, and I felt kind of guilty and bad about testing the universe and testing my guides. But there was fun and frivolity in it, I think, too. I've chosen really fun symbols and signs to be shown, and I got them. So I found that the testing's been really amazing. My signs are manifesting very quickly and very boldly, like there's no mistake. I'm asking for the most obscure things. So, for example, I had a yes or no question. So I said to the universe, show me 2 blue butterflies for a yes, or 2 yellow butterflies as a pair for a no within the next 24 hours, please. Or show me an infinity symbol if I should do this. Or what was my thing the other day? Yeah, show me Winnie the Pooh if I should do this. Like just random stuff, or Tigger if it's this. And I'm getting them. I'm getting the hits. and it's astounding. I encourage you to have a go. It's actually pretty fun. We've graduated way past the coins, the feathers, and everything else onto all sorts of things in our world. But you know what? The feathers are still like numero uno in magic. So while all this is happening, I was driving along and I was stopped at traffic lights, and I'd been doing a lot of sort of spiritual work that day, and this feather just fell from the heavens, like out of the sky, and just slowly drifted onto my windscreen right in front of me. And it just happened in slow motion, and I nearly cried. It was so beautiful and such a direct, hey there, Belle. I love that stuff. I love it. I love being alive, and I love the magic of life. Anyway, so with this practicing with the symbols, you've got to also not drive yourself crazy by scanning everything like a maniac, like looking for your sign everywhere. It won't happen like that. It's when you sort of let go and relax and just forget about it and move on with your life that it's going to show up. And that's just the way it is. Anyway, enjoy it. We're still on this Scorpio New Moon. I know I'm just zigzagging all over the place tonight. Desire for depth over surface. So we've got shallow conversations that feel impossible. Scorpio demands the real thing, meaning, purpose, intimacy, transformation. And many of you guys may have felt a sudden intolerance for fakery or emotional bypassing. And I know you're probably intolerant of it all the time, but it's probably at sort of a fever pitch in your life in some areas that are just screaming for you to pay attention to, and what adjustments can you make to relieve yourself of shallow crap. Now, through all of this, there's an invitation to begin again, isn't there, from beneath and bringing everything up. The Scorpio is the phoenix moment. A new moon in this sign is about starting fresh because something in the underworld just shifted. This new moon was a tide that moved through all of us, whether we noticed it or not. It was a new moon that said, tell the truth, let the old die, stop pretending, trust your instincts, start again from the deepest place in you. And some of us may still be nursing a hangover from it, which I think that's how I'm going to describe how I'm feeling about it, to be honest, is a new moon hangover. If that's a thing, well, it is now, because everything's just feeling really intense at the moment. Now, let me move on to 10 points that I use when, at times like this actually, when I'm feeling like life has flipped me. I'm just a little disoriented, a little messed up. Too many layers on me, too much of everything, and I need to do a hard reset or a declutter spiritually. You know, there's only so much of cleaning the kitchen benches and reorganizing my drawers that will do that. We're talking about the dirt time, the hard work on yourself spiritually, internally. Anyway, I've designed this 10-day program. It's these 10 steps. It's also part of a course called Begin Again that I wrote. I'll talk to you about later, but these are my steps, okay? Day 1, step 1, the pause. This is the first step that you need to take, and it's about creating a moment of genuine stillness, slowing your inner world enough that you can actually hear yourself again. It's less about techniques, more about intention, turning down the noise, becoming present, and letting your energy settle. Without this pause, nothing deeper can ever really rise. You need to always remember that. Of course, there's the basics before you take on these 10 steps that I'm about to list, where you might want to limit social media. You should always curate very carefully what media you're consuming, films, music. You don't want any low vibe stuff. Absolutely no way. Also, your favorite energy vampires, just stay away from them for these 10 days as well. because I think they've definitely had their fill this year. Okay, step 2 is this waking up feeling. Gently noticing what's shifting inside you, journaling, quiet observation to help you recognize the first signs of awakening, restlessness, longing, clarity, or even a little teary emotional relief, or crazy laughter, or suddenly a new perspective on a situation you haven't been able to get your head around before. This waking up with clarity is a really beneficial stage early on in the process. Then step 3 or day 3, if you do 1 step a day, it's a good thing. Sacred grounding. Returning to the body through grounding meditations, touch points, earth connection practices. Grounding stabilizes the nervous system so deeper work can safely unfold. Then we move on to step 4 or day 4, return to the self. I have a guided meditation for this. It's a guided process of remembering your core essence. And I practice identifying what is me versus what I've absorbed from others and reconnecting with values and desires in my inner truth or your inner truth. Like you've got preconceptions or opinions and things. You're like, is that mine? Where did I get that? So there's a lot of work that can be done there. Really interesting process. And something you can revisit all the time because there's always different stuff coming up too. So it's valuable practice. Then we've got number 5, sacred space. Clearing the energetic clutter, both physically and emotionally. So this step uses small rituals, decluttering, prompts, and energetic boundary work to open a space for renewal. Like I said before, we clean the kitchen, move the drawers around, even redecorate. It depends how extreme you get, but this work can happen inside as well, and physically, just how you look and everything. And also, I just want to touch on something. When you look at yourself in the mirror, change it up. Do you smile at yourself? Can you even look yourself in the eye in the mirror? Can you say something good to yourself? Like, hey, gorgeous. Hey, beautiful. You're looking awesome today. Do you? Can you? It's not that easy. Sometimes it can be really confronting. We're not used to doing this. But it's part of acknowledging the sacred space of our body as well. But what we put in it and all of that, of course, and there's loads of information about that and blah, blah, blah. You can find that anywhere. But this connection to yourself and your own reflection, there's a sacred space and the tension held between that too, I feel. Which leads me to number 6, the voice within. Learning to hear your intuition. Explore the difference between fear, imagination, and inner knowing, supported by quiet listening exercises and simple divinatory prompts. If you have tarot and other things like that, that's good to work with as well. And just try out a few exercises. And the looking for the signs that I just previously mentioned is good as well, but not in the crazy madcap way I was describing. You could go inward and be a bit more quiet about this and have that more real divination mode where you are communing with the greater forces around you. Number 7 is the inner seasons, and here we want to be understanding our personal cycles, emotional, creative, spiritual. This involves self-observation, rhythm mapping, and kindness toward our own ebb and flow. It teaches pacing instead of pushing. So, you're racing around the shop and you're like, do I need to be rushing like this? Why am I walking so fast? Why am I doing this? Why am I trying to wind up this phone call? Like, pay attention to what you're doing. Listen, slow down. Or speed up, I suppose, if you want. But just be mindful. Come back in when we talk about our inner pace and our inner cycles and where we're at. To go deeper into this, so that when it's more shamanic, we talk about our inner seasons. And it's a really good map for you to become accompanied with of where you're at. And sometimes with these seasons, like, am I in my winter, my spring, summer, autumn? It's really lovely to journal about that and figure out where you are from time to time. All right, point number 8 is energy clearing. Absolute classic. Letting go of what isn't yours through visualization, through somatic techniques, and symbolic release. Write stuff down, burn it, chuck stuff out, cut cords, dissolve old patterns, do the work, get rid of the energetic residue left by others. This should actually be a daily practice, even more than once a day. It's like every time you interact with something that you become conscious of that energy, you cut those cords immediately and you just get that stuff out of your face. That energy, you don't want it. So this is another automatic practice that you would benefit from pulling into your routine if you don't already. Point 9 is creative flow, which isn't on many spiritual lists, I don't find, but it's core to my practice. I think reopening the creative channel is essential to our vitality. This includes intuitive mark making and writing, being playful, doing childish stuff, have fun. Try things that bypass perfectionism and that reconnect you to your true expression as your spiritual self. And that practice, if it's drawing, painting, singing, dancing, whatever, and you get in that flow state, this is a spiritual act. It's sacred. Then, step 10, begin again. A simple renewal ritual to close the circle that you can design yourself or follow what information I can give you. Acknowledging the transformation that you've made, anchoring new clarity, and remembering that you can repeat the process at any time you need to reset. This is always available for us whenever we want, and I think it's one of the keys to a happy and fulfilling life is to allow yourself this constant process of renewal and growth and shedding of things, so things are generally always fresh. If everything about the Scorpio New Moon feels like it's been stirring something in you, or if you're craving a reset in your inner world, the Begin Again course is there for you. It's a gentle 10-day journey designed to help you clear your energy, reconnect with your intuition, and feel like yourself again. Also find it's really good if you've just moved house or you've gone through a breakup, and that sort of stuff as well, or a transition with work or losing your job or financial dramas. You never know when you want to pull this course off the shelf again. Anyway, it's self-paced, warm, simple, and it's available now. There's a link on my homepage that is sacredmechanics.com, which today I just moved to Substack. So thanks for your patience. I know it's been absolutely haywire, my website. And when you go on there, you may see something where it asks for your email address and you can subscribe for free. But underneath that, there's a little button and you can not do that and just get to the page and see all of the podcast episodes and some of the stuff I've written and some blog posts, links to fawn.com, my publishing company, and whatever else I've got going on at the time, depending when you're listening to this. If you're ready to start fresh in a grounded, soulful way, it is there waiting for you. And I would be thrilled for you to take that journey that I've been using for decades working with myself. And I feel that technology is so cool for letting me share these steps with you in the format of a course as videos, guided meditations, PDF downloads, a workbook and stuff. If not, you could probably design your own course as well. There's so much material out there. Just be careful, what neighborhood you end up in. You just want not too much razzle dazzle, but you're probably going to be wanting some more grounded, real stuff that's rooted in compassion and this new creative reality these spiritual doorways opening, that we can maximize the potential of them and uplift ourselves and feed our energy in the most highest and best way for all. Anyway, I hope that made sense, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening. I'm Bel Bare, and this is Sacred Mechanics.